Oh, it's not done yet. Welcome back to a Pilgrim's Walk. We're looking at the Plymouth run-in and looking at where the points are going to come from in the final 8 games of this crazy championship season. We've got 3 of the most positive Plymouth fans you'll find on the planet here to dissect the fixtures. Thank you for joining us. We're also talking about the fallout from that derby result and just how culpable is Hallett in this season. Fans seem to have switched their attention to saying his reputation is ruined. We will get these guys' opinions on that shortly. Thank you very much for joining us. Lots of Plymouth content out there, but 20 minutes with some very wise old heads, some very young wise heads spreading across all Plymouth content. Right, let's jump straight into it then. This is not done. It's not done. I'm not having it yet. We're not losing Plymouth just yet. Here are the 8 remaining fixtures for Argyle. 4 at home, 4 away. Let's go through it. Chris, let's give you the home games. Norwich, Sheffield United, Coventry, and Leeds. It couldn't really get much more difficult. Unless Burnley were thrown in there, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you give yourself any hope?
Of those 4 home games?
Yeah.
Maximum 4 points.
What, beat Norwich, draw to Coventry?
Beat Norwich, draw Coventry, and that'd be about it. I can see Leeds United bloody celebrating promotion at the last game of the season on our pitch, having beaten us.
Yeah, I mean, like we said last week, if they beat Bristol City the game before that, could be done and dusted. They might be on the beach, so you might have a chance. You never know. You never know.
Leslie, do us a favour.
Yeah. What about these away games then, Reece? Let's have a look at these. I mean, we'll talk about the Pompey result as well in a second. Watford, nothing to play for. Swansea, not really anything to play for. Middlesbrough, not going anywhere. Preston, definitely not going anywhere. So, come on, there's 4 teams here that have got nothing to really do.
No, but I suspect after the Sheffield United game, we may not have nothing to fight for at that point. But I just have very little faith for us away from home at the moment. And for some bonkers reason, I'm going to the Middlesbrough game. I was struggling to see more than 3 points there, really, and that maybe 3 draws. We just don't score goals. We don't really defend away from home, do we? So it's the 2 makers of football we struggle with.
Yeah, that Watford game is crucial, though, Jaden, isn't it? I mean, win that, and it's back on.
Yeah, it is. Well, it could be, but struggle to see it personally. I think we could beat Swansea. We could beat Middlesbrough. I can see us getting results against them for some reason. And I think we may get a 0-0 draw against Coventry, but that's all I can see as far as it goes. 7 points, probably the maximum we're going to get, and I don't think that will be enough. In fact, I don't think it's mathematically enough.
This club toys with you, Chris, doesn't it? I mean, you must have. I mean, we all thought about you on Wednesday night when that Fratton Park result came in. Just walk us through your emotions in that stands, having travelled all the miles that you have.
It was brilliant, Mark. We've had to wait 7.5 months for that. Our first win in March from last August, and I'll tell you what, I can have that more often. Yeah. And then 3 days later, we get brought back down to earth with that performance and the result against Derby. And you think, flipping heck, it started again. Do you know, one of the stupid stats, we played 38 games this season. Out of those 30 of those games, we've conceded first. That tells you all you need to know. Instead of just getting a 1-0 win or a 1 each draw, no, we've had to go out and concede first, which means we need 2 goals to win the game. And that's been part of our issue, you know. Not scoring and it's obvious, not scoring and letting them in the other end is poor. But getting back to Portsmouth, it was bloody brilliant. Absolutely loved it. We'll live on that one.
Yeah, it deserved as well. It wasn't a fluke result, was it? Yeah, no, our Pompey fans said it's just as much. So recently going into Saturday morning or waking up Saturday morning and heading to Home Park for that game, you must have thought, yeah, we can do this. And then what is it about the Home Park performances at the moment? The players just seem to be devoid of any kind of care.
I haven't got a clue what's going on. At home, it's just we've just seem to have lost the passion that we had at home. Home Park, the atmosphere is not the same, but I think it's the anxiety and the nerves of the stadium is playing a part in that. but then there's nothing happening on the pitch, and I think part of it is, and I don't want to blame Mueslick at the moment because I'm not getting into that bandwagon of it's his fault, but the playing style is so drastic from what we've seen for the last 4 years. Really, it's not going to get you off your seat, and the players aren't going to kickstart that atmosphere.
Yeah.
I think it's a mixture of everything. And you know what? We're in a relegation scrap. I don't care how we win the game, but they just look disinterested half the time. It's just
worrying times. Jaden, Harry says the reputation of Hallett is completely tarnished now, and it's a great shame. The club has gone leaps and bounds from what it was in 2018 before he took over with him at the helm, and I'll be forever thankful of him for that. However, the last 18 months have been nothing short of poor. And to what degree do you think he's now tarnished his, wonderful reputation that he had built up?
I don't think it's necessarily tarnished. He's an owner that's always looking into the future, trying to build a sustainable club, and he's not spent the money he needed to this year. It's obviously a level above where we have been in the previous years, which is below this level. And you're facing teams which are just gonna punish players who don't have the experience and don't have, we've not looked into these players. We've bought off stats, we've bought off things we shouldn't be buying off. Players we shouldn't have bought in the first place. They're now tired and they can't play for whatever reason. And we haven't spent the money we should have. We should have got a striker in. That's obviously down to Hallett, no one else really. There's not been enough investment in the year that he needed to the most really.
Okay. Chris, I mean, the criticisms went on. Well done, Jimmy Dickinson and Simon Hallett. This is the worst team we've had for years. I mean, Chris, you've spoken to him. He seems a very nice guy and genuinely wants the club to do well. Not like some chairman at other clubs, like at Sheffield Wednesday, for example, who never comes near the place. So you kind of do feel for him. But have these posters and got a point?
Yeah, they got a point, Mark. But at the end of the day, we haven't got a queue of people ready and waiting to come in and take over.
Yeah.
People talk about getting rid of Simon Hallett. Who's coming in? Who is the person to take over from him? We haven't got one. He spent long enough trying to get in this investor. Allegedly, he's coming in the summer. If that happens, then great. But we haven't got another Simon Hallett waiting to take over from Simon Hallett. It's not happening. So these people got to give their head a wobble. If you can't change these things that you can't change, you must learn to accept them. And that's what we got to do here, because we got nobody else.
The players need to take some responsibility, though, Reece. I think it's fair to say. Adam says, and that's done. I can't wait for all these players to leave. Never want them to return to our club ever again, even as guests. F the lot of them. Get them on the released list. Well, next week, join us for our podcast next week, because we are looking at the out of contract players and going through them and getting this lot to come up with who stays and who goes. Reece, but I mean, how much is this on Hallett? How much of this is on Mueslick? How much is this on Rooney? How much is this on Foster? And how much of this is on the players?
Well, for me, none of it's on Mueslick at all. He's done the best he can. There's got to be a bit of blame to Rooney, but to me, I think it's harsh because he's proven that he's very good at relegating teams. So why would you employ him in the first place? For me, Hallett is done. He took over. I think his first day was the day we got on it. Well, that was Andrew Parkinson, the CEO. The first day was in charge was the day we got relegated to League Two. So where we've come from since then has been Nathan, and Hallett's always said he wasn't able to finance us in the Championship. However, and like Chris said, there isn't anyone queuing up to take us on, but he's insistent on this. Someone give me 15 million quid and I'll go and spend your money for you. No one's going to do that. They need a little bit, they need control in the club. And I think that's probably what's put an awful lot of investors off, because there's been so much investment in this league this season, especially from America where he's looking. I can't believe no one is been available. So for me, an awful lot of the blame has got to sit with Hallett and with the board. And I don't think transfers are his fault. I think certainly January there was money to spend. We know that, and that sits with Jimmy Parkinson or Andrew Parkinson or whoever controls that signature, the final signature to sign off on a purchase.
Well said. Jaden, there's not much more we can add to this. It feels like a funeral march. This, but Vince says 2 seasons in the Championship comes to an end. We've only gotten worse since we've got here. I'm not looking forward to another 10 years bouncing back between League 1 and 2 because we defo aren't coming back again. We're getting exactly what we deserve after choosing Foster and Rooney. But I mean, looking at League 1, I know we shouldn't because it's not done and dusted yet. But Birmingham are going to go up. We haven't Sheffield Wednesday, Portsmouth, Sunderland. Charlton might come up respectfully. All the kind of, I feel like a big club names that had fallen have come back up. So It's going to be more of a competitive League 1, isn't it, next season?
Yeah, I would expect so. We're a team that would expect to be, I think we will be mid-table to playoff places, obviously in that fighting for playoff range. And I think that's where we'll be.
Well, if we go down, if he's not coming out saying that our challenge isn't to win the league or go up automatically,
well, yeah, it should be
ridiculous.
Absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree with that. But I think in the end we will end up being just a playoff fighter, really. In the end.
Okay, all right. Let's not let's put many nails in the coffin just yet. I mean, obviously we talked to every one of the 24 clubs on here, so I can tell you Watford fans think they are garbage at the moment. Middlesbrough fans think they are garbage at the moment. If Preston, you could do with Preston beating Villa and getting to the semi-final of Wembley so that their minds are taken off that. So this isn't done. This isn't done at all. Good luck. Join us next week. We'll look at all the out-of-contract players. I'm sure none of our panel here will want many of them to return, but stay tuned for that. Thank you very much for joining us this week. We'll catch you at the other side of the international break. Thanks so much.